Hello, Kinders. We're back for another night of stories. And tonight we're going to continue our book, the storybook Treasury for the Berenstain Bears. And we're going to read the chapter called The Berenstain Bears and the Wishing Star. One day the Bear family went to the mall. They passed the toy store. They looked in the toy store window. "What a beautiful teddy bear," said Sister. "It's okay," said Brother. If you like teddies, well, I do," said Sister, "and I love that teddy." Thought Papa. Sister's birthday is coming. Mama had the same thought. That night the cubs were doing their homework. Brother was making a map of Bear Country, and Sister was doing numbers homework. She was not doing well with numbers. She got a C on her last report card, and Papa was helping her. She wanted to get a B or even an A. Soon it was bedtime. "Look," said Mama, "the wishing star." "What is the wishing star?" asked Sister. "It's the first star that comes out at night," said Mama. "You can wish upon it." Then Mama said the wishing star rhyme. "Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might, have the wish I wish tonight." "What happens then?" asked Sister. "If you wish hard," said Mama, "and you do not tell anyone your wish, it might come true." "I'm going to try it," said Sister. She said the rhyme. "Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might, have the wish I wish tonight." Then Sister fell asleep. She dreamed of the beautiful teddy. Sister's birthday came, and she got the teddy for her birthday. "I got my wish! I got my wish!" she cried. After supper and birthday cake, Sister and Brother did their homework. Brother was still working on his map. Sister was still working on numbers. Getting a B or even an A would be so nice, she thought. That night, Sister made another wish. She said the wishing rhyme again. Then she fell asleep and dreamed. She dreamed about getting a B or even an A. Sister got her report card the next day. She got an A for numbers. "I got my wish! I got my wish!" she cried. Brother got a good report card too. They got a reward. They were allowed to stay up and watch a special TV show. It was about a pony, a beautiful white pony. Sister fell in love with that pony. What are you predicting? That night she said the wishing rhyme again. "Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might, have the wish I wish tonight." Then she went to sleep and dreamed. She dreamed about the beautiful pony. The next morning she woke up early. She ran downstairs. She ran outside to look for her pony. She looked all over. It wasn't tied to the fence. It wasn't in the shed. It wasn't anywhere. Sister was very sad when she came back. "What's the matter?" asked Brother. "I did not get my wish," said Sister. "What did you wish for?" asked Brother. "I'm not supposed to tell," said Sister. "You can tell me if you don't get your wish," said Brother. "I wished for a beautiful white pony," Sister said. "Oh," said Brother, "you know, sis, you have to be careful with the wishing star. If you are greedy or ask for too much, the wishing star may not hear you. I got my first wish, said sister. It was your birthday, said brother. I got my second wish, said sister. You worked hard for that A, said brother. But a pony? I don't know about that, sis. Sister thought about that. Then she smiled and said, well, anyway, 2 out of 3 isn't bad. The next chapter is called The Berenstain Bears and Too Much Car Trip. Never take cubs on long drives is a pretty good tip, but there may come a time when it's all worth the trip. The Berenstain Bears and Too Much Car Trip. It was just about vacation time for the Bear family. Brother and Sister Bear knew where they wanted to go on vacation. Brother's choice was Great Grizzly Land. Cousin Fred's been there twice, he said. He says it has all the biggest, steepest, fastest rides. Sister had a different idea. She wanted to go to Wild White Water Kingdom. Lizzie went there last year and she says it's awesome. It's got a white water ride where everybody has to wear a bathing suit. It's got a pool that makes a huge wave and corkscrew water slide, and I'm sure those places are fun, interrupted Papa Bear, but we're going on a different sort of vacation this year. Oh, said Brother. Where are we going? We're going on a car trip, said Papa. As a matter of fact, I'm planning it right now on this road map. He was seated at the dining room table. He had a big map spread out on it. A car trip, said the cubs. That's what the cubs said. But that's not what they were thinking. What they were thinking was, oh no, not a car trip. Not a long, boring car trip. A car trip to where? Asked Brother. Your mother and I have decided that it's time for you two to see more of the country, said Papa. Sister was puzzled. What country is that? She asked. Papa looked up from the map. Why, bear country, of course, he said. What kind of vacation is that? Asked Brother. We can see bear country any old time. Yeah, said Sister. We can just look out of the window. Besides, said Brother, what's there to see? There's a great deal to see, said Papa, and a great deal more to appreciate. So why don't you just sit there beside me and I'll show you where we're going on this map. They climbed up on chairs beside Papa and looked at the map. It didn't look like much of a vacation to the cubs. It looked like just what it was, a big boring map. Well, what do you two think of our vacation plans? Said Mama Bear, coming into the room with baby Honey. Is Honey coming with us on this car trip? Asked Sister. Goodness no, said Mama. She's not old enough to appreciate a trip like this. I've arranged for Honey to stay with Gramps and Gram while we're gone. Lucky Honey, thought the cubs. She gets to have fun with Gramps and Gran while we have to go on a long, boring car trip. You know, said Brother, baby Honey is a lot of work. Why don't we stay and help Gramps and Gran while you two go on a car trip? Mama and Papa didn't think that was such a good idea. They packed up and left early the next morning after saying their goodbyes to baby Honey, Gramps, and Gran. They headed for the open road. Mama knew how the cubs felt, so she brought along things for them to do during the trip. She brought crayons, a book of mazes, and some board games. But the cubs were so determined to be bored that they ignored the things Mama had brought. They just sat in the back of the car with their arms folded. Since they were looking straight ahead, the cubs didn't notice that the country around them was changing. The trees were getting bigger and wilder. The land was getting craggier. They didn't even notice the whole wide blue sky filled with great white clouds sailing and scudding over the broad country. But there was something they did notice. A distant roaring sound. It's hard to stay bored when there's a distant roaring sound that's getting louder and louder. What's that roaring sound? Asked Brother. That's Honeymoon Falls, said Mama. That's where Papa and I spent our honeymoon. Just then they turned a corner and there it was. Tons of water were pouring over a cliff and crashing into the river below. Brother and sister forgot all about being bored and said, "Wow!" They parked the car and went to Honeymoon Point overlooking the falls. They had to rent slickers to keep from getting drenched. "I bet they don't have anything like this at Wild Whitewater Kingdom," shouted Sister over the roar. "There's something I don't quite understand, Mama," she added as they headed back to the car. "If you were here on your honeymoon, how come I don't remember it?" Mama and Papa just looked at each other as Brother whispered, "You weren't even born yet, silly." That gave Sister something to think about on the next leg of the car trip. "Hey, look," shouted Brother, "soldiers fighting. They're shooting each other." "Nothing to worry about, son," said Papa. "They're just shooting blanks. They're reenactors." "Huh? What's a reenactor?" asked Brother. They're folks that act out important things that happened a long time ago." "What are they reenacting?" asked Sister. Papa looked at the map. I'd say it's the Battle of Beetle Creek. See that stream? That's Beetle Creek." Who was doing the fighting?" asked Brother. "Folks just like us," said Papa. "What were they fighting about?" asked Sister. "You know, countries don't just happen," said Papa. "Folks have to make them happen. And sometimes there's trouble. And that's what the reenactors want us to think about. Sometimes you can learn from the past and do a better job in the future. Look over there, behind that low wall." The cubs looked. "See those stones?" asked Papa. "They mark the graves of the soldiers who fell in battle." Brother started to say, "Wow," but nothing came out. Sister took hold of Mama's hand and leaned against her. Back on the road, they went uphill for a long time. They passed a sign that said, "Elevation 7,610 feet. "What's that sign mean?" asked Brother. "We're in the Great Grizzly Mountains, and that's how high we are," said Mama. That's when they turned a corner and found themselves looking down the steepest, narrowest, windingest road they had ever seen. The wind rushed past as they plunged down the mountain. "Phew," said Brother as they got to the bottom. "I bet they don't have anything like that at Great Grizzly Land." "That's a pretty safe bet," said Papa. They passed a sign that said, "Now entering Bear Country National Park, home of Mount Grismore." "What's a national park, Mama?" asked Sister. "That's a park that belongs to the whole country," says Mama. "What's Mount Grismore?" asked Brother. "It's a very special mountain," said Papa. "What's special about it?" asked Sister. "You'll see in a minute, dear," said Mama. Mount Grismore came into view as they came out of a clump of trees, and it really was special. It had 3 enormous faces carved into its side. "Who are they?" asked Brother from the observation area. "They're some of the great heroes of Bear Country history," said Papa. "Their faces are carved in the mountains so we won't forget them." Brother and Sister looked up at the great faces. A picture came into Brother Bear's mind's eye. It showed the 3 historic faces, but there was another face too. It was the face of Brother Bear. "A penny for your thoughts, son?" said Papa. I was just thinking how this trip is a lot different from what I expected, he said. Of course, there was a lot more that happened during the Bear family's car trip. There were spilled drinks, bathroom stops, lots. Sticky lollipops, souvenir shop stops, motel stops, and all the other things that usually go with car trips. But that's not what the Cubs remembered. What they remembered was the big sky, the great falls, the mighty mountains, the little graveyard at Beetle Creek, the heroes of Bear Country's history in the side of a mountain. Baby Honey Bear was asleep when they picked her up at Gramps and Gran's and headed home. "You know something, Papa?" said Brother as they climbed the steps of the treehouse. "We ought to take Honey on a car trip sometime. When she's old enough to appreciate it, of course." "Of course," said Papa. And we will continue this book tomorrow. The next chapter is called The Berenstain Bears' Seashore Treasure. I wonder if they're going to the beach. We'll have to wait and see. I will see you next time.